Hafa and welcome to our very first episode of My Story for 2018. We hope the start of your new year has been great. It's certainly been a good year for us so far, and in this episode, we welcome back Guam Cancer Care. We're starting off our year by providing you with some educational material in the hopes that if you haven't already, you'll add staying healthy and getting screened for cancer as one of your New Year's resolution. So stay right there. When we come back, we'll have Nona Perez from Guam Cancer Care who will talk about their cancer screening programs. Hafa and welcome to another episode of My Story. I'm your host, Janella Carrera, and today joining me is Nona Perez, Program Manager with Guam Cancer Care. Welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us. And you know, we've had Guam Cancer Care on our show several times over the last couple of years, and you know, you guys have been such a benefit to our community. But today we're going to be talking about your screening program.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Well, the cancer screening program is for the uninsured. We collaborate with the Guam Breast and Cervical Cancer program at Public Health, and these services are provided to individuals without insurance and meet a certain guideline.
Okay.
So, for example, once a person requests to get screened. This reaches out to women 40 years old to get a mammogram, and 21 years old to get a pap smear. Also to men for their PSA, and that begins at 50.
I see. PSA is is that the prostate? No.
Well, the process for the screening program, what we do to reach out to the community is we join health fairs and get the word out of the importance of screening. Individuals that come up and request for screening, they go through the USPCF guidelines, which is the U.S. Preventative Task Force guidelines, and once they fall into that category, they will get screened with a local provider here on island.
Oh, okay, I see. So I know you kind of touched on eligibility, and it's primarily for those who are uninsured. And you know, in Guam, there's a little bit of a confusion as to what uninsured is versus, you know, Medicaid or MIP. So if someone has Medicaid or MIP, this is not the kind of screening that they would have to.
Well, we open it up to everyone. They're free to call our office, and we don't want to turn anyone away because we want to spread the importance of screening and early detection. So with that said, once an individual calls our office or comes to our office to avail of the screening program, we'll go over it with them, and we'll let them know the services that we provide, and if they fall under the eligibility, then we'll be more than happy.
So I mean, they're welcome. Anybody's welcome if they want to just inquire about your services.
Yeah, because we collaborate with the Guam Breast and Cervical Cancer Program. If they don't fall within our services, we can always direct them.
You can refer them somewhere else, or give them more information about. You know.
Exactly.
Okay, got it. That's great because you know, a lot of people in the community, they go around and especially those who are not insured or even those with insurance often don't know where they're supposed to go.
Yes, and it's a very true fact because when we collaborate with the insurances and we get out there to the businesses and do our health fairs, we have a cancer screening questionnaire that we provide to everyone who participates. And within this questionnaire, we ask when was the last screening done, if they've had a pap smear within the last 3 years, if they had a mammogram. And you know, mammograms after the age of 40 is every year after. If they smoke, if they had a colonoscopy, if they even had an FOBT, which is a fecal cult exam. It's a test. So with that, it gives me an idea of where our community stands by getting screened. And it's really important, and I try and tell each and every one that comes through our table, that screening is very important.
Yes.
And that's the main thing is early detection. If cancer is found in an early stage, then the chances of life is greater.
Yeah.
So that's what we're trying to get out there. Considering
Right.
Guam is such a small island,
Right.
and our numbers are high.
Very high.
So we really want to live a cancer-free island,
Yeah.
and the way to do that is just to get out to our community and let them know the importance of screening.
So you mentioned that you guys, go out to health fairs or community events to spread the word about your screening program.
Right.
When I think of health fairs, I'm usually thinking of like Micronesia Mall. Sometimes they have like health fairs in the center court. Those are the kind of health fairs, and maybe.
Well, we collaborate with anyone who invites us to their health fairs. So a health fair can be at the Micronesian Mall, over at Agana Shopping Center.
Hotels.
And it can also include just the business itself.
Okay.
So whatever insurance they have within their business, we can go in as a vendor and we speak to the employees about our health care.
Okay. And so the program that you guys have, this is mainly for breast and cervical cancer screening, for women at least, right? And then you said for men there was a screening that's
PSA.
also PSA.
Right.
What is it?
The PSA is the prostate screening.
Prostate screening.
Right,
Okay.
and that's at a later age, at 50. The guidelines that we have, the screening guidelines that we have, are given to each and every individual that goes through or even has any information regarding our screening guidelines, and it'll tell you what age and how often you need to get screened.
I see. Okay. And you mentioned that if they do qualify, they meet all of the eligibility requirements, and this is a person you've identified does in fact qualify for this screening. Then
Right.
you work with private doctors.
Once they deem eligibility through our screening program, then they are directed to a local clinic who we collaborate with.
I see.
And what happens there is once they fill out their registration, we go ahead and look through it. They're eligible. We give it to a local provider. The local provider will then call them, schedule them an appointment. They will do their labs and go through their screening, and Guam Cancer Care will fit the bill.
Right. Okay. Oh, I see. So, is there? What if, like, just say, for example, this individual who would qualify for this has a preference for their own doctor? Is that a possibility, or is it? I mean, it's a screening, so it's not like,
Yeah. Well, we'll try and make it to where it helps the patient get to a clinic of that's closer to their wherever they live, or how, if they prefer.
Oh, okay. But you do have a network of doctors that you also work with.
Yes, we collaborate with local doctors here on island, and we really appreciate that because it helps bring these individuals to get screened and to have peace of mind.
Yeah. Okay. The program, the cancer screening program, with the with all the requirements that are made, some people might be discouraged, as far as eligibility. What would you say to them, as far as not wanting to go through the process? Because I'm sure there are people out there that maybe are uninsured,
right?
And don't really care, in their mind they're like, I'm healthy, I don't need I don't need to do a screening, plus it's a lot of paperwork. What would you say to those individuals that are discouraged by it?
I come across those individuals many a times.
I'm sure.
When I do the health fairs, or even just on the phone, or even just speaking at anyone. Of course, they're afraid to find out the truth, right? And so the way I get them thinking is our numbers. So our numbers are high here on island, considering we're small. And them knowing everyone's affected by cancer, whether it's a family member, a friend, however, co-worker. So just hearing the word cancer is a bit scary already. But if they're screened early and they know early, the chances of beating cancer is greater. So you may live a healthy lifestyle, which is great. You may eat healthy food, which is even better. But you know what? If you have insurance, you're already paying for it. Get screened. It doesn't help. It doesn't hurt to get screened.
And cancer doesn't discriminate. You know, it affects anyone, all
cancer does not
ages,
discriminate, exactly.
all types of health levels, whether you're super healthy or, you know, on the other end of the spectrum. Because I've known some healthy people who, you know, who follow the rules with as far as diet, exercise, and all of that, and they still, you know, end up with cancer. And perhaps, you know, maybe screening was a missing component for them. Now, you mentioned numbers. Has Guam Cancer Care had a chance to, I know you guys have only been around for about 5-6 years.
6 years, yes.
You're fairly new.
This year will be our 7th year.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
wow, okay, that's great. 7 is a really good number.
Yeah.
But have you guys had any, have you been able to maybe just kind of get an idea or a picture of, you know, the rates here in Guam and maybe what screening might have done to help in reducing those numbers? Is that something?
Well, you know, Guam Cancer Care, within its 7 years, we started off with a very low number. Unfortunately, our numbers have grown significantly. But, you know, getting out there and helping the people is one thing. Getting them screened is another. So as much as we would like to get a bunch of people screened so then they can have a peace of mind or even detect early, that's one way of just getting out into the public and trying lower our numbers.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Nona, for, you know, educating us on the screening program, and hopefully, you know, with that knowledge in mind, more people will want to take advantage of this, especially those who are uninsured. You know, and maybe afraid to come forward. Hopefully this will change
well,
their mind.
we encourage everyone to get screened, and if they have any information or would like to know more about the types of cancers that are out there, or just need someone to talk to, they can more than happy to call our office.
Okay, and we'll have that number for our viewers.
Yes.
We'll post it up on the screen. So,
yeah.
All right, well, when we come back, we'll have another individual, another person from Guam Cancer Care that we'll be interviewing as well, and she'll be talking more about the Join the Fight campaign. Her name is Rhythm Blas. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Hafa and welcome back to My Story. I'm your host, Janella Carrera, and joining us for this part of our show is Rhythm Blas with Guam Cancer Care. She's an outreach coordinator. Thanks for joining us, Rhythm.
No problem.
So we're going to be talking in this segment of our show, we're going to be talking more about the Join the Fight pledge, or the Join the Fight campaign. Can you tell us a little bit more about what this campaign is about?
So Guam Cancer Care's Join the Fight campaign is the foundation of our outreach efforts here on this island. And so what the campaign consists of is we do have our sole part of our campaign, which is the Join the Fight pledge.
Right.
We have their pledge, and then we also partner up with different organizations to do medical outreaches within our island community, and then we also have our Get Fit Guam program.
Okay, that encompassing the whole campaign.
Yes.
Okay, but today we're going to be talking a little bit more about the pledge itself. When was the pledge campaign or portion of the whole campaign? When was that launched?
So we had a relaunch in July of 2017. So what that entitles of is we had this event that was held at the Sheraton, and we had companies, organizations, government leaders who either have signed our pledge in the past or we proposed the pledge to them newly, and they all came together and signed the pledge all at once.
Okay, and I remember that event because we actually covered it on PNC News. So tell us, okay, so when these companies or organizations or individuals sign this pledge, what are they pledging to?
So when we propose the pledge to the individuals, we really are trying to spread cancer awareness and prevent cancer within our island community. So when they sign this pledge, it's kind of like taking an oath with Guam Cancer Care. And so we have 4 key points that they pledged to come about, which is one is promote, allow, and encourage their employees to get screened for cancer following the cancer screening guidelines. So we do have our cancer screening program that we do present to them as well. The other one would be to promote a healthier lifestyle by eating healthy and exercising. The other one is to disseminate information about Guam Cancer Care. You know, when you tell someone about Guam Cancer Care, it works hand in hand because you reach those people who either are affected by cancer, know someone who has cancer, and that we can be a great help to them.
Right.
But at the same time, it kind of gets in their head like, hey, I need to get screened for cancer. Maybe I should check, you know?
Right.
So it works hand in hand by disseminating information about cancer.
Right. Okay.
And then the last one is to encourage participation with any Join the Fight campaign event.
Oh, okay. So Join the Fight campaign event. So I'm assuming that you guys have events like throughout the year that you hold.
Yes, so we do have events throughout the year, and we have our large event in October, which is our Get Your Pink On Wave.
Oh, okay.
So we encourage all
yes.
schools,
I
you know,
that.
companies to come out and just meet at the ITC intersection to just wave for breast cancer awareness.
Okay. So the Join the Fight pledge, so I know, at least for us, Sorensen Media Group, we did join and sign that pledge. And I know because every time I go to the break room, it's there. Your posters are up there. And, you know, to just compliment your efforts, it does help, because when I walk in there and I see the posters, I think, okay, you know, eat healthier, or do something. You know, cancer is so prevalent in our communities, so it kind of gives me that, even if it's just a snapshot of it, gives me that reminder. So since you guys relaunched your Join the Fight pledge, how many companies or organizations or individuals have signed on?
As of now, we have a total of 75 companies, organizations, government leaders who have signed the pledge.
Wow, that's actually a really good number. How does it work? Do you reach out to these organizations, or do they come to you?
It varies. It varies. So sometimes I do propose a pledge. I usually talk to the marketing or the HR department and just be like, hey, you know, my name is Rhythm. I'm from Guam Cancer Care. We have this pledge that really promotes cancer awareness. Are you guys interested? I can send you a proposal. And what the proposal includes is information about Guam Cancer Care, because we don't just want people to just sign a pledge just because we ask them to, you know. So we give them that background information about Guam Cancer Care. And then if they are for it, we schedule a signing that is at their location. Takes roughly about 20 to 30 minutes. And so I kind of brief them and their employees about the Join the Fight campaign. Then they sign the pledge and we take a photo. And usually their photos are, we're going to have it on our websites, or also we post it on our Facebook. Right,
okay. And so earlier you kind of talked about this oath and the 4 key points. And you know, when I hear the word pledge, I kind of liken it to like the Hafaday pledge, you know, and so like with the Hafaday pledge, I know there's certain things that they do, like every Friday, or every time they answer the phone, they do a certain greeting. And so the 4 key points you mentioned, one of them is to promote, you know, a healthier lifestyle. Is there like a certain way that Guam Cancer Care, I guess, kind of encourages the employers to do it?
So that's where our Get Fit Guam program comes into place. So with our Get Fit Guam program, we have this app called Get Fit Guam. And so when you download the app, you have access to our calendars, information about Get Fit Guam. And so we have different individuals, instructors, or different gyms that offer certain services for free. So anything on our app is for free. So you can attend, we have Zumba classes, hot hula, we have swimming, so different physical activities that our island community can just.
So it's kind of like a gym schedule, and here's, you know, this day at this time, and you can go, and it's a free class.
Yes, it's a free class. You just have to download the app, and your instructor will usually log in points for every class. Then you can also redeem prizes at Guam Cancer Care.
Oh, okay. Wow, so that is great.
So we try to really tie health and as well as living a healthier lifestyle, because it's free. It's open to the community. It's open for anybody. And so whoever just wants to join.
I'll take advantage of that. You know, I never have time because of my work, but, you know, there's a whole calendar that says, you know, and, you know, people can plan ahead of time. I know people in the workforce are really busy. A lot of them will say, you know,
and it's not at a certain location all the time.
Right. It's different
everywhere. Like a lot of community centers, you know. So we may have a Zumba class down south, then we also have one up north. So it's really, you know, we're trying to also take in consideration everyone's lifestyle and try to really push it out there.
So I'm assuming that you know, these free classes that are available to the workforce, you partner with different gyms or individuals who offer these classes, and they do it on a volunteer type basis?
Yes.
Okay. Wow, that is awesome. That's great, and you know, I hope people will take advantage of that. Now, what is the requirement or the eligibility to be part of the Hafaday Pledge for let's just say, an organization or an employer? Is there like a minimum amount of employees that they need, or is there a limit as to how many employees or members are in that organization?
There is no, I wouldn't say there's a limit to who is allowed to sign our Join the Fight Pledge. We do range from companies from 5 employees to 300 employees or more.
So even like the smallest of businesses can be part of this.
Exactly, because that's what our goal is. Our goal is to really touch bases with everyone in the workforce. We're not going to turn you away because you only have 3 employees. You know, those 3 people still need to get screened too.
Right.
So yeah, it's open to anyone.
It's open to anyone. And I know the answer to this may be obvious, but what are some of the benefits for both the employer or organization leader and the members or the employees who join in on this pledge?
Some of the benefits that would require that is given is that sometimes when they do sign the pledge, we do orchestrate a mini health fair with their company to kind of just give them an idea, like, hey, this is our screening program, this is an outreach effort. So in that way, they get their screening done through that. And then also too, it just works hand in hand depending on promoting them as well. So for example, if I sign a gym for our Join the Fight Pledge, and I propose to them our Get Fit Guam program, and they like the idea, it promotes not only our Get Fit Guam program that encourages everyone to exercise, but also showcases the gym as well.
Right.
So it works hand in hand, and it varies based on the company as well.
It's kind of like their civic duty, right? To be involved in the community as well.
It varies based on the company.
Okay, and then do you have a goal? So I know the relaunch was in July of last year. So if it's only been about 6 or 7 months since the relaunch.
Yes.
And you guys have already hit 75 organizations or individuals, which is a really great number. But I'm assuming that that you'd want to target more because our workforce is pretty large.
Exactly. So since our relaunch in July, there was about 33 companies who have signed that day.
That day.
Yeah. So from July to now, so 33, and then now it's to 75. My target is usually, I would like to aim for at least 80 companies a year.
Okay.
But of course, the ultimate goal is every single workforce on the island.
Right.
So I think we're moving pretty fast. We usually sign about 10 companies a month.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's great. You're very busy.
Yeah. Trying to be.
Do you have like campaign flyers or posters? Because I know we do, but can you tell us a little bit about what's on the poster? What's
Okay,
contained?
so when you do sign our pledge, we have something called a Go Packet. And what the Go Packet includes is we have 4 different types of posters, a pamphlet and a brochure of Guam Cancer Care, and a wristband.
Okay.
So the 4 posters we have is, one gives you facts about cancer screening. The second one is our cancer screening guidelines.
Okay.
The third one is a Who We Are poster about Guam Cancer Care, and the 4th one is the cancer awareness ribbons for the year.
Okay. Okay.
So we give those to companies, and it varies on the size of the company of how much we give them. Then we also give them a pamphlet of Guam Cancer Care, just information about Guam Cancer Care and our services that we provide.
Okay.
And then the wristband, it's a mini sheet that has the cancer awareness ribbons, and different wristbands are color coordinated by the awareness.
By the awareness campaign.
So we get those, so
like breast cancer would be pink, and cervical.
So there's a lot, so we usually give those to them to kind of, put in their lounge or for their employees to see.
Right, their break rooms. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for educating us on this Join the Fight Pledge, and hopefully, with this, more companies, more
Yes.
organizations,
Yes.
and even individuals would want to take that oath, that pledge. So we'll put more information on our show as well and talk a little bit more about how you can avail of this this service or this pledge if you do want to take that oath. So Rhythm, thank you so much for joining
Thank
us
you.
and telling us and explaining more about this pledge. Appreciate it. All right, well, when we come back, we'll close out the show and give you a little bit more information about how to join the fight. Welcome back to My Story. Well, we're at the end of our show, so a big thank you to everyone tuning in. We hope you were encouraged by this episode to get screened and to live a healthier lifestyle. If you have more questions about Guam Cancer Care and their services, you can contact them at 969-2223 or visit their website at guamcancercare.org. From all of us here at My Story, thank you for supporting our cause, and we wish you a healthy and cancer-free year ahead. Thanks for watching. Adios.